Cheers. Okay, cheers. Hi guys, welcome back. I have somebody here with me. So obviously those of you that know me know that this is my mama. And for everybody that don't know me, this is my mama. Had to call my mommy to the couch. It's just me and her today. Very special episode. How you feeling?
I feel good.
Nervous?
A little bit.
Don't be nervous. We finna talk. We just finna talk.
Yeah.
What kind of coffee you got? Do you even know?
You made it. It's kind of tastes like pumpkin spice, I think.
Wrong.
Oh no.
This is the cinnamon dolce creamer from Starbucks.
Oh.
But we left the liquor out today.
Yes.
Probably shouldn't have did that though.
Yeah, we probably should have.
We probably should. You feel like you would cry more if there was liquor in your coffee?
I might say more.
Oh, well, let me go get the Kahlua then. But on today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about grief, talk about mother-daughter relationship healing. First, let's start with what did you think about the event? What were your thoughts?
What I think. First off, I was so proud to see your growth over from the past couple of years. But I thought that it was refreshing. It was, I don't know, just seeing God all in it, honestly. And I had to just thank God when I left. Like, thank you, because I'd been praying, and like I said, it wasn't just your journey, it was a lot of your journey that I had been praying about, but there were others in the room that, had journeys too that I was aware of and had been praying for, and it just, hit me when I was sitting there like, wow, her journey may have been, the journey that led to Plant Your Heels, and the journey that led those people to come, and the journey that actually helps them in some way if they took one thing away from it. And I said I wasn't going to cry, but I swear.
Here, let me give you some.
Already,
Jeez.
jeez.
See, I thought you wasn't going to cry.
But, so yeah, it was, even for me, there were some things, but I don't know, I don't think I was focused mostly on my healing. It was just, as a mother, just watching you and your growth. Not to say that you're completely healed, or not to say that any of us are ever completely healed from anything. Or if we are, we've moved on to something else that we need healing from. But as a mother, just to see where you had come from, it was such a blessing, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I am. You had to put in some work, and we know that. So yeah, and that's where it starts, putting in the work.
Thank you. Oh, so do you want to tell them how old you are?
I am 51.
Are you sure? You sure? You sure you know how old you are? Okay. I think it's 51.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 51. Okay. I just turned 51 this past year.
So in 51 years, what do you think has been the most impactful experience in your life thus far that you feel like you've had to really hone in on healing from?
That's easy. I would say the death of my mom. But it also brought up extra healing that I never really healed from as a kid, which would have been the death of my dad at 10 years old. But I never really grieved him, I don't think. So I think grieving her, that was the most impactful. It brought up a lot of things. The most impactful was the death of my mom. Yeah.
So do you feel like now that it's been how many years? Let's see.
Oh Lord, that was
12?
2009.
13?
Yeah, it was 14 years this week.
Oh.
On the 26th.
What day was that?
Oh gosh, today is what? The
28?
it was Thursday?
Mm,
Yeah. It was Thursday. 14 years. That's hard to believe, right?
I know. I know. Definitely feels like if I can't remember anything vividly, I can remember that day vividly. And I think that for me, definitely altered my brain chemistry and just like my life in general. I mean, it was just such an unexpected and impactful loss.
I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about childhood traumas or just traumas, life traumas in general, and how, like, you can remember certain things. Like that day, I remember vividly as well. I mean, every minute of it. Um, and then I can't remember the next day or the night before. So it's, I've often, that's one thing I struggled with since then is not being able to remember the night before and what was said and what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh God. But yeah, no, it was hard. It was real hard. And something that I've realized recently for me, I mean, it's been 14 years. Her death date just passed, and I didn't even realize it.
I didn't realize it.
And sometimes that I struggle with that, not realizing, or I don't like to feel like I'm forgetting.
I don't think it's forgetting. I think it's healing. I knew that it was. I'll be honest. I might not have remembered as quickly if my brother hadn't have texted, and he always texts our group, on that day just to tell us he loves us, And I always, when it's something like that, I always, oh yeah, that's today. And, but I just call it her heavenly birthday now,
Yeah, for me, I mean, I remember the night before, I remember the day of, and then it gets blurry. I don't even remember. I know, like, we stayed there. I don't even remember how long we stayed there after. I don't remember packing my things and leaving. I don't remember none of that. And, it's really hard. But I think for me at this point, I've also been struggling with now I'm doing all these things and I miss her and I miss Nanny.
Yeah.
And, I just always wish that, they could be here with us.
Oh yeah.
Just to see like what we're still, I mean, I know they're with us, but to experience our family and our love still while we journey through life together, especially as adults. Me and Brittany, we grown, like really grown now. So it's hard, but I think along the way for me, as far as grieving, when I realize that I'm grieving, I try to find ways just to honor them.
That you are every day. You say you wish that they could be here, but they are because they're in you. They played a big part in you being and you guys becoming the people that you are. That wasn't just me.
Yeah.
Because they raised me and I am who I am because of them and anything that they instilled in me, it's been instilled in you guys. So they're always with us, and that's one thing that I guess grieving, you finally come to realize that even though sometimes life gets so busy and like this week you didn't realize, but that's a part of healing, that's a part of grieving, that when you get to a point where you're living, because anytime with grief, when you lose someone significant, that's the point you need to get to. It's the point we have to get to, is they wouldn't want us here constantly grieving them. Life does go on. It's a never-ending cycle.
So what is something that you think has helped you in your grief?
God, most definitely. That's the one thing. And of course, I had support. Family and my kids, because I had to go on. But yeah, God was the most important thing that got me through it. I was raised in church as a kid, and then we kind of got out of it, and then as a young adult, it was going back with mom. Um, but I think I really, really turned my life over to him after she passed. So just having that faith and knowing that he's with you every way. Sometimes you don't think you can get through the day, but because of him.
I had not a strange, but I had an interesting journey with church myself. And I think that through a lot of my experiences, especially some of my grieving experiences, I've tried to find community in my faith, and I tried finding community in church. And, you know, when I moved home after my first real breakup and I was trying to find community in church, I was going to church sometimes 2 times a Sunday and trying to figure out what I liked, what I didn't like, what I wanted. And I think that faith is so interesting because I tried to find community in faith, but because of how my church experience went, and I will not name said church, but, you know, being a queer Black woman and being in church is already hard.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes when I tell this story, I say I messed up because I got involved. And I know I didn't mess up because I got involved because I wanted to. And I wanted to be involved with the youth. I wanted to lead. And then I tried leading, and, you know, they wouldn't give me my own group of youth, so I was helping another young lady who was leading. And I always wonder, like, why can't I have my own group? I want my own group. And through that experience and, you know, even young children, me being openly, you know, queer and out and proud about it, there were children in the group that would share that, you know, those were their experiences as well. I mean, when you have a 16-year-old looking at you in a church environment and you're saying these things, and you also know that this church is not going to openly accept them. What are you going to tell those kids? And I struggled with that. So I ended up leaving the church because while no one would ever say it to me, like, you can't lead a group because of A, B, and C, I knew. And what was so funny is years later, I had dinner with a friend who I will also not name. And we talked about that experience, and I asked her, because she was in leadership in that church, and I asked her, I was like, so what was it? And found out that you have to sign a contract that literally says you cannot be homosexual. And I was like, that is so disheartening.
Disappointing.
It is disappointing. It is disheartening because this is something that the community has struggled with for years, for a long time, long before me. And so be someone who is so connected in faith and with the heart to lead the youth. Everybody doesn't have that, but you just think about, like, you know, what are they gonna tell those kids, and then eventually they'll have to have their own journey with figuring it out.
Yeah, and maybe they'll find Plant Your Heels.
Maybe they will.
A community. You know, a community for all. It is disappointing, you know, to know that because of Grandma.
Yeah.
That you guys were, not because of me, but because of Grandma, you guys were raised in church. And that church was a very small community. But it was loving. And it was accepting, you know, because even back then, you know, with you guys being biracial, you know, there was some, you know, things with that, but, or opinions, you know, but it was accepting, it was loving, it was a community of small people. But so knowing that you were raised in church and knowing that over the years, as even, you know, when you, as a teen, and, you know, even though you got away from church, of actually going into a church, you still kept your faith, and it got stronger as you got older. And because I remember many conversations, you know, between us, but so it is disappointing to see your child as an adult that wants to be strong in the community and help others and lead them, to their own faith and to their own understanding of their spiritual relationship with God. To be turned away for that, it is. But you know what? You have to understand that those people are just people. And when you came out to me, it I don't think that I was hurt by it or anything. I was a little confused. Had some questions.
You definitely asked some questions. Oh God.
But I will tell you, there is a reason for every season, and that there are some things, life experiences that lead us to be able to handle another life experience. So I had already had life experience to give me enough knowledge or enough acceptance and love for that.
I've had to figure out my own relationship with God and spirit, and I've had to navigate my own spirituality. I'm proud. I am who I am. I love who I am. I love my community. And to bring it back to what I was discussing as far as church, I feel as though everybody deserves a place. And there are places out here that obviously are not going to welcome us through their doors, and that's fine. So it's another reason that I know I need to do this, because if you can't find the space somebody else created, you gotta create your own.
Amen. Maybe it's your community that's going to help that youth, and they find, or if it's not yours, maybe they find a strong mentor that'll help them. And because I'm going to be honest with you, there are some people that gather that are just not like-minded, or their beliefs, and I'm not judging, but their culture and their beliefs have created just a one-way thinking.
Yeah.
And they think that way regardless. I try to be open-minded when it comes to things that I don't understand. I am the devil's advocate where things are concerned, so I try to see both sides. But there are some people that will let their own biases and their own culture and beliefs and traditions spill out onto others, and they don't even realize sometimes. And that's such a touchy topic, because kids will keep it secret, and then you have other people that are just discussing it and not realizing what they may be putting on another child, not realizing what that child is actually dealing with inside, or what that youth or teen or adult even. I know some adults are even dealing with, and it just makes it worse. And sometimes we've got to step out of our box and just kind of understand that, our own beliefs and values and our own thinking is not everybody's. Everybody's so different.
So talked about losing grandma, talked about church, but I think for you and I, we have had a ride. We've had a time.
Yeah, we have.
We've had a time. We've had a good time.
We have.
But we've had a rough time sometimes.
Yeah.
So one of the things that has really been on my heart when I was thinking about what I want to talk about with Mom was healing this mother-daughter relationship. And I do think that one of the pivotal moments for me personally, knowing that our relationship had to be better, was when we did lose Grandma. Because that was like, if I got in trouble, Grandma, come get me from over here right now.
Yes.
And so when I lost her, and I didn't have that outlet to run away from the problems anymore, I knew then and as I got older that it had to get better. And
I think as you got older.
Yeah. And
but that wasn't your fault. I feel like after her death, I kind of for that next couple of years, I kind of was in my own head. It was hard for me, honestly, to even help you guys grieve because I couldn't really grieve myself.
I mean, rightfully so.
So, yeah, I feel like it was on up. I do feel like there were times when you was spinning out of control a little bit.
I've spiraled. I've had my fair share of spirals.
So have I. But, yeah. But I want to say I think our pivotal moment was maybe when you come back from Boston. Or while you were in Boston. Those, there were like, out of those, 3.5 years, we might have seen each other
very few times.
Very few times. But we had many conversations on the phone. But I think that was when we really started to connect in our faith.
Yeah.
And have those coffee conversations, but it was fun. So I think that was our pivotal moment. Because you were always that fly by the seat of her pants kid. You were the one.
I think I'm still like that a little
bit. You were the one that could call me and tell me anything, and it wouldn't really surprise me. And you were the one that, even though I said, I don't know if that's a good idea, did it anyway.
I think I turned out all right.
You turned out great.
Yeah, and
you proved me wrong.
I made it my duty. I'm just kidding, kind of. I'm like half serious, half joking. But no, yeah, definitely was the child that was gonna do. If it meant I was gonna be happy in the moment, I was doing it.
Yeah.
So, but I definitely think that all of my experiences have led to the healing of our relationship. And yes, moving back home, don't regret any of the times I did it. I would do it again if I had to.
But glad you don't have to right now.
Thank God. Hey, blessed and highly favored.
I think that last time.
Oh my God. But yes, no. But I think one of my favorite times moving back home was definitely when we lived through the pandemic together.
Yeah, what's your favorite? Oh, I don't know about
Even though I drove you guys crazy, I personally feel like every time I think about when we...
You know what, though? You're right. Because there are something... What was it we said? What happens?
What happens during the pandemic stays in the pandemic. There's some things... Listen, we had some times when we were in quarantine.
Yes.
And it was such an interesting, crazy time. But always thankful that I was back home during that time. Because I could not have imagined spiraling the way I did.
Actually, you know what? A reason for every season. Imagine all of us, Jackson being in his own space and you being in your own space and me being alone.
No.
Imagine having to go through that.
Yeah, no.
Isolated like that. So there's a reason for every season. We don't know it, but it just hit me. Even though
Even though I had y'all washing the groceries.
We had to sanitize the groceries.
Yeah.
Even boxes of cereal and packs of rice and every single thing that came in the house. And when we walked in the house, she was behind us wiping everything we touched until we got in the shower.
I was making sure my little brother washed his hands every time he went to the bathroom. I would listen for him to use the bathroom and then wait to see if he turned on the sink. That's probably the worst arguments we had while we were in the pandemic.
But you know what? Boy washes his hands now.
Exactly. Wash your hands. That's crazy. But no.
But, yeah, that was a crazy time, and you did drive us crazy. But I'm glad we did it together because I can't imagine having to do it alone. It was hard.
Yeah, it was hard. Oh, and here we are.
We're still healing, I think. When it comes to our relationship. Not that it's ever been bad, but...
We've been at odds.
Yeah.
We've been at odds.
And we still get at odds sometimes.
Naturally so.
But
my sister's the closest person to me. I'm at odds with her all the time.
Amen.
But that's because she be trying to act like my mama too. But
just imagine the mama that has to listen.
I know. Pick a side.
Yeah. What? They call and you're like, y'all call and
you need to tell her that she need to stop acting like
this and your daughter that, and I'm like,
you need to
I
get
get
your
to
kid.
the point now was like, okay, well, are you just this is my favorite thing, are you just venting, or is it you're telling me this is something? Because I'm just
you
listening.
always say that. You do always say that. Now, are you just telling me this, or is there something you want me to do? Do you want me to call her? And I'm like, you know what? Since you're asking, don't worry about it.
But that's my favorite thing.
Don't worry about it.
Are you calling me just a vent? Because okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm really grateful. I'm very grateful that we are here, and grateful that we can sit down and talk like this. Grateful for awareness and connectedness. So,
yeah, I am too. I was really nervous about this, but
why? See, I told
this
you.
was
just talking. We just talking.
Like us sitting on the back porch or on the phone.
Listen, I invited Brittany today. She was like, I want mom to have the floor. And I'm like, okay. She said, I think it'll be so good with just you two. I said, I'm sure it will. But I did invite her to come.
Oh, it would have been nice with both of y'all. Mm-hmm. But
I'm sure there will be one with the two of you. I'm sure that. But yeah, everyone loved Brittany on the last episode. If y'all want me to get her on as the co-host, hit me up in the comments. I don't know. Tell her she needs to join as the co-host. I know you guys want her back on this couch.
When I was watching it for the first time, I thought, well, is she going to be quiet and let Brianna talk?
Okay, so, I'm glad that you said that, because something that I've been telling, my friends as we talk about coffee conversations, and everyone loved Brittany. They loved hearing her speak. But I was telling my friends, I was like, this is not for me to get on here and talk everybody to death. This is for me to bring people in here that want to talk and share their experiences. I mean, I can get on here and talk to y'all all day long, but how interesting is that going to be every episode,
That's true.
So it is to open the floor to hear what other people have to say.
She was a natural.
Oh, yeah. It's a talker.
Yeah.
We love that.
I was looking at you guys. I was like, dang, I made that.
That's right. You did good. You did real good.
Look at those grown women. It's like sometimes as a parent, I think you just get so caught up in life, and then sometimes something will catch your attention and you're like, wow, look at my kids. Mm-hmm. Look at all my kids.
All your kids.
All my kids are doing so good. Mm-hmm. But, and just, even though I see y'all struggles, and I think all of y'all have your own healings to heal from. You have your own circumstances. But it's just so good, and you just have to thank God. So, I mean, just be so thankful that, He brings you through those days, because that's what it is, one day at a time. Mm-hmm. And just be thankful, even for me. Like sometimes at night when I lay down, well, every night, of course, that's my time in the mornings and at night that I spend with God. And I just have to say sometimes, like, thank you, God. This was a rough one, but you got me through it. And
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I am the most thankful for is, this year was really hard.
I know.
It was a hard year. I'm going to cry again. Mm-hmm. Sorry. It was hard. And there were so many times I didn't know if I was going to make it out.
I didn't know that. I think going through what you were going through, you isolated yourself a little bit. Mm-hmm. A lot, I think. But I will tell you, you had posted a video that I watched, and I didn't know you had been video journaling. Mm-hmm. And I watched it, and I watched you over the past year. And there was one part of it. It was in March, and I won't forget, because I know I was out of town. I remember the time exactly. I remember talking to you while I was on that trip, but still didn't realize where you were going, and you look so. I know I probably ugly cry.
That's
but,
okay.
But that was the hardest thing for me to watch, and I could even go back and watch it now. But to see your child, and to see the hurt and on your face and in your expression and in your voice, it was hard for me. That was the hardest thing.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting about making that post? Because I video journaled and then I just abruptly stopped. And then that day I was watching all those videos and I was just like, wow. It's like you don't realize a lot of the middle that when you're going through it. Like, but being able to watch those videos back, and then that day when I came to this realization, like, oh my gosh, I'm operating from a place of joy and gratitude constantly because I made it to the other side, and that's what led me to making that post. But I'm just grateful, you know. I wake up every day and I'm just thankful to be here. I'm just thankful for life. And I tell, when I'm talking to my friends, I'm always like, to operate from a place of just constant joy and gratitude and have so few moments of sadness, because I mean we all have our sorrows, but I don't operate from sorrow anymore, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be able to take care of myself, and just grateful to have made it through that. If you had to leave the people with one thing when it comes to healing and, you know, how we journey through life, what would you want to leave them with?
Just find your relationship with God. Because, and hold your people close. Lean on them for support. But relationship with God, and hold your people close. Because even though sometimes I think through healing, I know for me, I wouldn't want to burden anyone else with it, because they might be doing okay.
Yeah.
Like with grandma, you know, you don't want to talk about it because, like with the people that loved her too, because you think, oh, well, if they're doing okay, I don't want to hold them back.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're doing the same thing. So just hold your people close. Lean on them for support.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what they are. They're your community. They're your people.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those people, you gotta find those like-minded people.
Right. Build your own community.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's definitely what pushed me to start Plant Your Hills, is because, you know, I got to the point in my journey where I'm like, and now I need to make this space, to create this space and bring my people into it with me. Like, I'm on the part of my journey where I'm ready to share, and where I'm ready to outwardly and openly bring my people in. So, speaking of Plant Your Hills and what's coming next, I will say that the next event will be at the top of the year. On the last episode, I know I said before the end of the year, but because of the venue that I want, I have moved the event to top of the year. So the next Plant Your Hills event will be January 6th. And it will be a ticketed event, but it is going to be so beautiful. And I'm so excited to have people come and open it up to whoever wants to come. So that's what's next. There will be things in between.
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. I told my mama the other day that while she will be in attendance, she will be my part of my
hired.
She's been hired. She has been voluntold.
Voluntold. Not hired for a fee or for a wage, but voluntold. Sorry,
I don't have a budget yet. We gonna get there, but I don't have a budget, so you gonna have to come help me out with the love of your heart. But
thank goodness it's big.
Right. So next event is January 6th. There will be plenty of things in between now and then, so please stay tuned. I'm announcing the merch giveaway next week. I have my merch samples coming, and there will be a giveaway very soon.
How do you get in that?
Keep your eyes peeled. Go follow Plant Your Hills on Instagram. If you're here, you probably already have, but if you haven't, find us on Instagram, go follow. The giveaway will be announced for next week There will be 10 winners. And it's a merch pack and it's cute. So go follow us and keep your eyes open. But thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
For joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I love you.
I love you too.
And more to come. Stay tuned.
Bye.
Bye.